Hey everyone, welcome to the RotoGrinders Morning Grind podcast. I'm your host, Stevietpfl. It's Wednesday. It's July 10th. It is 2024. 10-game night slate, main slate here on a Wednesday. That's fantastic. Usually it's like 6 or 7 games, but joined today by Stevietpfl, TastefulTides in the DFS streets. Tim, what's happening, my friend?
Yeah, not much, Stevie. It was definitely a pretty wild slate Tuesday night. Still a lot of games going on. You got your Rangers over team total bet. It's looking pretty good right now. So yeah, it's definitely a action-packed slate, and I think this one coming up for Wednesday is going to be action-packed as well.
Yeah, I mean, really interesting slate on Tuesday night. I have a couple really good teams going, so we'll see how those teams kind of shape out over there on DraftKings. So morning grind parlay, looking to start the week 2 for 2. We need over 4.5 Texas runs, and they got bases loaded right now with no outs, so hopefully we can get that in there. So a lot of weather on Tuesday slate, so hopefully we don't have to worry about weather again. And we said it on the podcast last night, Keith and I, and we were like, this is an amazing slate. Weather will ruin it. And, so far it hasn't been too bad because everything's kind of playing that was supposed to play. And Kevin Roth is still just absolutely knocking it out of the park. So, all right, let's we got 10 games. We got a lot to talk about on this slate. Lot of different ways to go with pitching and hitting, and should be a fun one. What's up, YouTube? Hope everyone is having a fantastic Tuesday. Since it's Wednesday, we're going to do a morning grind contest and give some swag away. So the winner of the morning grind contest will get some swag today. And yeah, I just posted the link over there on the YouTube chat, and I'll do the best I can to remember to try to post it in the comments of the YouTube video as well. When you're getting in the comments, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Come hang out with us live. We got the Dodgers and the Phillies up first here. 9 total. Phillies a 125 favorite. Gavin Stone against Christopher Sanchez. Any interest here in Gavin Stone?
Now that Schwarber and Harper are back, I do not. He's a little bit too expensive. Doesn't have quite the high enough K rate going up against these elite lefties. He does do a good job of limiting hard contact, and he does do a decent job of keeping the ball on the ground. But I just think the $9,300 price tag is too high. I don't think he has much of a ceiling in this matchup.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, his biggest issue continues to be he's a below average strikeout pitcher, and at 9,300, we need some ceiling on any kind of slate, and we're definitely going to need some ceiling on a 10-game slate like this. So I think the price and the matchup, like you said, Schwarber, Harper back, that just the lineup gets so much tougher with those two guys in the lineup. Like, it gets harder when Real Muto gets back in there as well. But man, you add Schwarber and Harper back in this lineup, and it's just such a tough lineup. So I'm with you. I don't really have any interest here in Gavin Stone. Other side, we got Christopher Sanchez. Any interest in Sanchez against the Dodgers?
It's almost a very similar situation to Stone. Not really high enough K rate ceiling. 9K against the Dodgers. A very, good, contact team. A very hard team to really have a ceiling up against. So, I mean, Sanchez was looking so good that he finally got lit up last start. And, he was, that happens. But I don't like this spot as a bounce back spot for him. 9K against the Dodgers, I just don't think it's going to cut it.
When Jonathan India got scratched, I ended up on so much Zach Geloff, and he just hit a home run. I'm just running good on Tuesday night. That's all. So,
Big Dumper got a home run. Sorry.
Yeah, Seattle scoring some runs.
Squad ride pick one.
There you go. I was on that too.
Shout out Dean and Bobby.
There we go.
Nice work.
Yeah. Sanchez is a low strikeout pitcher too. Like, I won't stack against Sanchez because he just does a great job generating ground balls, and his ISO is like under 100. But he's not a guy that I want to play against the Dodgers in this matchup. I mean, can he pitch deep into this game? Sure. Is he going to pitch deep enough in this game to pay off 9K against the Dodgers? Probably not. So there'll be times that you can play Christopher Sanchez. Like, he just faced Miami a couple starts ago and absolutely dominated. So I just don't think this is the spot. Let's go to Stone here. Any interest in Gavin Stone?
Didn't we already just break that down?
Oh, I'm sorry. I got distracted because chat was talking about sitting.
I'm distracted too, and I was like, "Oh, what's going on here?"
Dodgers. Any Dodgers bets?
Not really. I mean, I don't want to pitch Sanchez, but I don't necessarily want to stack against him either. The prices for these Dodgers are pretty high. You could always play Ohtani, but this is a really big slate, so I don't really love it. I don't really love the spot just because the prices are so high. They're not really a team I'm going to be looking to stack.
Really like Will Smith, and he's a fly ball guy, so I think like you could take some shots on Will Smith, but he's so expensive that it's a really tough one-off. Vargas is another guy that hits the ball up in the air a lot, so like if you wanted to take a shot on Vargas or Will Smith, I don't hate it. Philadelphia against Gavin Stone. Any interest here in Philly?
I think you can always play a low-owned Kyle Schwarber or low-owned Bryce Harper, just as like one-offs, similar to taking a one-off of Ohtani or a one-off of Will Smith. But in terms of a stack, I'm not really interested in the Phillies.
Yeah, I'm gonna stack or fade Philadelphia. Like, that is my approach. Gavin Stone, low strikeout guy, struggles with command from time to time, but he does a great job limiting power. It's a stack or fade spot for me. Like, he's a guy that can go out and give up one or two, or give up three or four, give up a home run or two. So like, this team has enough power where if I was gonna play Philadelphia, it'd be a stack or fade. The stack is so much easier now that Harper and Schwarber are back too, because that's your two big lefties. We got Oakland at Boston, 9.5 total in this one. Boston a 180 favorite. We got JP Sears going up against Nick Pivetta. Any interest here in JP Sears?
Honestly, I do a little bit. I don't want to. I think that just because he's a tremendously cheap lefty, and Boston really does struggle against left-handed pitchers. So it's pitching is not great on the slate, despite the size of the slate. It's not really that good. So I don't hate Sears, even though he's really been not great this season. But I think the Red Sox are just so bad against lefties, and Sears is only 6,500. So I don't really hate it.
Yeah, I mean, for me on Sears it's a lineup thing. He has been absolutely atrocious against righties, and it's been worse over the last month. He just can't get right-handed hitters out. So if Boston rolls out like a lineup that has like 4 or 5 lefties in it, maybe you have more interest in Sears. But if they get this lineup like 6, 7 righties, no chance for me. Sears over the last 30 days has a 12% strikeout rate, a 278 ISO, and a 475 WOBA against righties, giving up almost 56% hard hits. So it's a lineup thing for Sears for me. If it's a very right-handed heavy lineup, I'm out. If they leave, I mean, because they have Duran, Hamilton, Devers, Yoshida, Abreu, like they can leave a lot of lefties in this lineup. So we'll see how it kind of shapes out here. Ooh, that home run helps me a lot. Steer just hit a home run. We're climbing. We're climbing fast. All right. I got a team that's super alive after that Steer home run. It's a Cincinnati, Texas stack with a Butler one-off that has Sale and Scherzer pitching at 147 points. So that lineup looks good. All right. We're rooting for that one. Good. Yeah. All right. Pivetta getting Oakland under 10K. Struggles with home runs from time to time, but I mean, we have to play the strikeout matchup here with Nick Pivetta. In my opinion, we just watched Brian Bayo strike out double digits against Oakland on Tuesday night.
I was just going to say, if Brian Bayo can get 10 strikeouts against Oakland, I can only imagine what Pivetta can get. So Pivetta's got 28% K rate this season, only a 6% walk rate this season too. So his control's been really good. Yeah, I mean, I think Pivetta is one of the top, if not the top options on the entire board for Wednesday's slate.
Yeah, he's a top end pitcher today. There's a couple spots that might be better, like ballparks and stuff, but I mean this is just a phenomenal spot going up against Oakland. A lot of strikeouts. All right, Oakland bats. Anything here for Oakland?
Shea Langoliers, I guess, would be okay. I'm not really liking too much else. I guess Rooker would be all right as like a one-off if you wanted to get different, but I'm not really into Oakland at all.
Yeah, I mean my note for Oakland is power righties because like Pivetta when he struggles, it's power righties. He gives up a lot more hard contact and fly balls to righties. So like if I was gonna play, it'd be Bangoliers. I'm gonna keep saying it. I love it. It was Derek, I think, in chat, but Bangoliers, absolutely love that. Roker, like those would be my two favorite here. Zach Gelof, like he's really cheap. So like if you wanted some salary relief at second base, like just right-handed power. And then on the Boston side, if they do throw a lot of righties here at Sears, again, he has just been atrocious against righties recently. I would have a lot of interest in the stack building around like Tyler O'Neill and Connor Wong of all people.
Those are actually going to be the very first two guys I was going to mention. Was going to be O'Neill and Wong, and then I think you can throw in. I'm assuming Ref Snyder is going to crack the lineup. I think he'd be a good addition at 3,800. So even if you just wanted to do that like 3-man stack, I think that'd be fine. But it's tough because a lot of the best hitters for the Red Sox are lefties. So really, this might just be like a 3-man stack for me. But I love Tyler O'Neill. I'm interested to see what his home run odds will be.
Yeah, I think that's a great call. Like over total bases, over 1.5 total bases, probably at close to plus money here. That would be absolutely phenomenal as well on the betting side. So we'll see what that kind of comes in at. We're moving on. We got Colorado at Cincinnati, 9.5 total. Cincinnati, a 178 favorite. Kyle Freeland, Frankie Montas facing off against each other. Kyle Freeland has strung together a couple good starts. Cincinnati is hitting the ball at home right now. They're smashing. Any interest here in Freeland at 5K against the Reds?
He's another guy kind of similar to JP Sears, and I think that he is cheap enough where you can take some shots in tournaments, but his K rate is just so low. It's only 13% on the entire season. So he's purely dependent on BABIP. So, but I think he's just so cheap, and the bottom part of this Reds lineup is not great. I mean, if India is really hurt too, right? He might not be in the lineup. That'll hurt it even more. So I think you could take some shots, like you're building out like 20 or more teams, but definitely not a 3-max play or single entry play.
Yeah, I don't have a ton of interest. I'm going to be on the Reds again on this slate. They can get enough righties in this lineup now too, where like Freeland is just he can strike out lefties. He continues to strike out lefties, and like he just pitches the contact. He has a 10% strikeout rate against righties. So, yeah, I mean, I think this is a really tough spot for him upside wise. Frankie Montas, other side. Oh man, I don't know. Like yesterday was an easy fade for me, because like when we were doing the podcast, Lodolo was kind of announced as we were recording the podcast. We had already got through this game and we talked about Montas, and he was an easy kind of stay away for me yesterday. This slate, I don't know. I want to fade him. I really do. But this slate, there's a lot less pitching options than there was on Tuesday.
You're absolutely right. Pitching is extremely weak on the slate. So Montas for 7K, I think is interesting. I can't see myself actually clicking it, but I wouldn't fault you if you did. This Rockies team is just so bad. Even though they, were able to manage some runs on Tuesday night. But yeah, Montas is a decent play. 18% K rate. I think he's all right, but I think we can get to some better plays later on the slate.
Yeah, I think I'm more willing to take shots elsewhere than Montas with his low strikeouts. You like the matchup because it's the Rockies and they stink, but you hate the ballpark too. Rockies bats. I have a lot of interest in McMahon and Nolan Jones. I'll build 3 and 4 mans around those two guys because it is Montas. He struggles a lot with lefties. He's really good against righties. Recently, he's been really, really good against righties. But I want power lefties for Colorado today, and I could see myself using a 3 or 4 man.
Yeah, they're definitely viable for me, as a 3-man stack, just because it's not Coors, but Cincinnati's a great hitter spark also, so I don't hate that call at all. Montas is definitely extremely hittable at this point in his career, so I don't mind those lefties at all.
Any interest in the Reds here?
Yeah, I think you got to, just because Freeland's such a low K pitcher. We're gonna have to see what India's status is. If India's in the lineup batting leadoff, I love him for 4,300. I love Tyler Stevenson at 3,600. Spencer Steer at 5K, I think is great. You can always play Ellie, 6,400. I think that pricing for pitching on the slate is soft or low enough that you can fit in a $6,400 Ellie pretty easily.
Yep, really like the Reds again. I'm gonna play the Reds again, and I don't see a reason why everybody else shouldn't play the Reds again. I mean, this is just an excellent spot to play Cincinnati again. And yeah, I mean, they moved Hins to the outfield now too, 2,500. Absolutely love the Reds in this spot. Freeland, they have enough righties like Steer, Hins, Ellie De La Cruz. I'm missing people too. Marte, who just got called up recently. Candelario hits lefties. Stevenson hits lefties. I mean, yeah, just going to continue to play Cincinnati here. I think this is a great spot, just overall. Washington at New York Mets. Patrick Corbin, Luis Severino, 9 total. Mets a 198 favorites. Any interest here in Patrick Corbin?
No, definitely. I can't do it.
Yeah, I don't think I could do it either. I teetered around with the idea of potentially playing Corbin, but yeah, I don't think I could do it either. I think I'm gonna pass on Patrick Corbin, even though I like the ballpark, and the ballpark could potentially help him keep the ball in the yard. And
sure.
He hasn't given up a home run in 4 of his last 5 games.
That just means he's due.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to talk anybody into Patrick Corbin. I'm just saying.
No, I can't do it. I hate to say it. I'd almost rather play Freeland.
I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna play either one of them. I think I'd play Freeland over Corbin too. Any interest here in Severino?
I don't. Not really. I mean, he's just another one of these super low K rate pitchers that has no ceiling. I think the Nationals are a little bit better than people give them credit for. So 7,500, I guess, is okay, but I just don't see the ceiling here. I mean, he's an 18% K rate pitcher. I'd rather play Montas against Colorado for 7K. So I don't really like Severino in this spot.
Yeah, I mean, overall for me, I like the ballpark, hate the matchup. Washington's a low strikeout offense. They don't really offer a ton of upside. Severino's strikeouts have really dipped recently. He's been getting hit really hard by lefties. So I think I'm going to pass today on Severino. Any interest here in the Washington Bats?
Not a ton, but I kind of like James Wood, and obviously CJ Abrams. But I mean, he's very expensive. But I think James Wood at 4,200 is a very, very good play. I think he's reasonably priced. I don't know, like Luis Garcia is always kind of like a decent, mid-range play. So I think he's decent. Oh, he's $4,600. Never mind, that's too expensive. But I do like James Wood quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, I think a little 3-man with Wood, Abrams, and Garcia is not crazy. Garcia much better against righties. Severino, again, he's really been struggling with lefties lately. So, yeah, I mean, I could see some of these left-handed Washington hitters like making like a mini stack on my builds here. Any interest in the Mets against Corbin?
I do quite a bit. I mean, I hate this ballpark so much, but I mean, that Pete Alonso price seems like so cheap. Like that is like 5,200 against Corbin is just ridiculous. So, and then of course Lindor is like red hot right now. So definitely love Lindor. Love the Mets in general. You can full 5-man in this pretty easily. So I think really getting to any of these righties is completely fine. Yeah, so I love the Mets.
Yeah, I mean, when I'm looking at this, Lindor, JD Martinez, Pete Alonso, Alvarez, Vientos, they're all really good against lefties, and it's Patrick Corbin. So, yeah, I hate the ballpark. Really like the right-handed bats in this lineup for the Mets today. Hopefully the weather holds off. Kansas City at St. Louis. No total in this game from what I was seeing because St. Louis hasn't announced who they're pitching yet. I looked pre-podcast and they for some reason they haven't announced. I know the game got postponed, but I don't know, I was thrown back a little bit by them not announcing, but it sounds like Sonny Gray could pitch in this game. We'll talk about that in a second. And then Waka for Kansas City, but MLB.com is showing Sonny Gray for St. Louis. But that's 5 days. That makes sense. Sonny Gray pitching. So, all right. Any interest here in Waka?
I do a little bit just because I prefer him kind of like over these other 7K type pitchers that we've seen. Like I like him better than Montas. I like him better than Severino. It's definitely not a fantastic spot. It's not an elite strikeout spot, but there are some strikeouts in the St. Louis lineup. So like guys like Contreras and Goldie this season have really struggled. Gorman as well. So I think there are some Ks in the St. Louis lineup. I think Waka has a little bit more upside than guys like Severino and Montas. And he's only at like $1,000 more than like JP Sears. So Waka, I think, is at least a little bit interesting.
Yeah, I like Waka. I think he's very playable. The Cardinals are hot or cold. We talked about this on the podcast yesterday. They're either really good or really bad. I think Waka, he has upside at 7,600. If it is Sonny Gray, any interest in Sonny Gray at 10-6 here going up against Kansas City?
10-6 for Sonny Gray. Yeah, I mean, just because this slate as a whole really lacks strikeout upside. So Gray would be the only guy that has like a true elite ceiling. The problem is the Royals, they're a pretty low strikeout team against righties. So I'm not really that enthused about playing him, but if you could find like a cheap stack to go with Gray, I don't hate it.
Yeah, he's expensive. There's upside facing this team. It's going to be a doubleheader too. Well, I like Pavetta more than Sonny Gray, but I'll definitely have some like exposure to Sonny Gray in my player pool on this slate.
Yeah.
Any interest in the Kansas City Bats?
Not against Gray. No.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't see a ton of upside against Sonny Gray. Like, even in his struggles recently, like it's been left-handed power. So, like, if you want to play Pasquantino, I wouldn't talk you off of it, or like a Michael Massey, but that's really it for me. And then the Cardinals, I'll say the same thing that I said on Tuesday's podcast. It's a stacker fade. If Walker's pitching well and the Cardinals are struggling, then you're probably not getting there. If the Cardinals are hitting the ball really well, they have the upside to win any slate. So it's a stacker fade spot for me on St. Louis.
Yeah, because they do have a decent ISO against righties, but they also do strike out. So like guys like Contreras, 252 ISO against righties, 28 or 29% K rate. That kind of play agrees with your thesis there. So I don't hit a full stack of St. Louis.
Miami at Houston, 8 total. Astros a 275 favorite. Brian Hoeing against Framber Valdez. Any interest here in Brian Hoeing?
No, I do not have any interest against Houston.
No, we don't want to play this guy. Yeah, I mean, he threw 46 pitches in his first start back. Yeah, no chance I'm playing Hoeing today. The real question is, like, I have been the biggest hater of Framber Valdez and playing him this year, but I don't know if I can fade him today. Unless he's going to be like massive chalk. This is the kind of spot where it's just, I'm just going to play him, and I'm going to hate myself for playing him, but the price is right and the matchup is fantastic going up against Miami. They got no power righties in this lineup, outside of maybe De La Cruz, Jake Berger maybe, but his power is like, he has a 40 ISO against righties or lefties this year. Like, I think it's just one of those spots you close your eyes and play Framber Valdez and hope that he shows up today.
He's gonna be super chalky though. I think, pretty sure. I think it's gonna be Pivetta. I think it's gonna be Pivetta and Valdez.
Oh, I think that's the chalky pairing too, for sure.
Yeah. No, I have no argument against it. It's just going to be about ownership. So, yeah, I don't hate Valdez in this spot, but boy, am I going to be mad at myself if I play Chalky Valdez and he gets let out. So, you know what I mean? Like,
oh, I mean, I feel 100% the same way, but on this slate at this price, I don't see myself fading him. I mean, I could potentially take a little bit of a stand and be underweight on him, but I'm playing him today. Like, there's just no way around it. I'm playing him today. And the reason why, like, who do you play for the Marlins? I mean, there's just nobody to play here. Yeah, I mean, like I said, maybe De La Cruz, but like everybody else for the Marlins have been awful against lefties this year.
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason to roster any of the Marlins on this slate.
Houston against Hoeing. I mean, we don't expect him to pitch deep into this game regardless. Any interest in the Houston bats here?
Well, you got to have interest in Jordan. I think this is a smash spot for him. 5,600 would be a good pivot off of like some of those Mets that we talked about. It's definitely a good spot. They are pricey though, so maybe just get to like a 3-man of Houston. But yeah, I do like them quite a bit.
All right, moving on. We got Pittsburgh at Milwaukee. Hey, Julio Rodriguez just hit a home run.
Did he really?
Yeah, good for him.
Oh, man.
Pittsburgh at Milwaukee, 8.5 total. The Brewers a 156 favorite. Martin Perez, Tobias Myers. Any interest here in Martin Perez?
Not really. I mean, 5,800, I guess, is not horrible. I mean, if we're going to be considering guys like Freeland and JP Sears, I think we have to consider Martin Perez. I mean, it's pretty ugly, but that's what the slate is. So I think he's viable in tournaments.
Yeah, I'm probably not going to play him. low strikeout guy. I get why you would play him. Milwaukee definitely better against righties, but they just don't strike out against lefties either. I get the idea. I do.
Everybody's a low strikeout on the slate. That's the problem. That's the thing.
Well, yeah, I really think I'm going to have a pretty tight pitching pool today and just kind of let my pitching dictate my hitting on the slate. So,
right.
Someone that I do have some interest in is on the other side of this game, Tobias Harris. Strikeouts are kind of all over the place, and we just watched Pittsburgh beat up Colin Ray. I don't care. Short memory in DFS baseball because of the variance. He's 7,700. I think he's someone that is capable of putting up 20 plus in a good start. And I mean, this Pittsburgh lineup, yeah, they did. They had a good game. But I mean, this is a beatable lineup overall.
Definitely a beatable lineup.
Harris. I even wrote down Tobias Myers and I said Tobias Harris. I think I said it more than once.
Oh, I didn't hear it if you did, but I'm surprised I didn't do that. So, but yeah, I agree. Yeah, he's got a 21% K rate this season, 7,700. That's really good for this slate. Well, to see O'Neal Cruz's status, he was left out of the lineup tonight. So, if he's out again, that's huge for the this matchup. But yeah, Myers is okay. I don't mind it.
Yeah. Any interest in the Pittsburgh bats here?
Maybe Brian Reynolds. 5,200. I think he'll be really, really low owned. But really as like a stack, not really, not at all.
Yeah, I mean, Reynolds I think is fine. Gosh, this lineup is so bad right now. Yeah, Reynolds is fine. Who's the guy that hit leadoff today?
Palacios.
Yeah,
Palacios,
I mean,
yeah.
if he's okay
leadoff, he's okay at 3K.
Yeah, he's cheap. Yeah, I mean, I don't hate it. I don't love it. I think Pittsburgh got all their runs out on Tuesday slate. Any interest in Milwaukee here against Perez?
I guess a little bit, but not a ton. I like Willie Adames at 4,600, Rhys Hoskins at 42. That's a very, very like affordable 2-man. You can always go with William Contreras also. But it's not my favorite spot on the board, but I think there's definitely some decent plays.
Yeah, I mean, if they played Contreras and Eric Haas on Tuesday slate, if they did that again, I don't mind either one of those catchers. I like Hoskins, Adames. I like that call. Torino, if he hits leadoff, I think is fine too. He's a cheaper outfield that hits leadoff with speed, so don't necessarily hate it here. Texas at LA taking on the Angels, 9.5 total. Texas a 142 favorite. We got Michael Lorenzen against Griffin Canning. Any interest here in Lorenzen?
I hate to say it, but I think I do. Just because this Angels lineup is so weak. It's just another one of these 18% K rate pitchers at 8,000, but I like the matchup. I like the ballpark. It's the walk rate with Lorenzen. So if he has decent control, which is a big if, he should be able to get through this lineup pretty easily. So I think you have to have some interest in Lorenzen.
Yeah, I mean, that was my thought process with Max Scherzer on Tuesday night, and he's awful. So
he's toast.
Yeah,
he looks bad.
His velocity is way down in this game too. I was looking at that. Yeah, I mean, overall for me, I like Lorenzen. I think he's okay. He should benefit from. I mean, they potentially are going to have 6 or 7 right-handed hitters in this lineup, and he definitely has a little bit more upside against right-handed hitters. This is a low walk rate team, so he definitely benefits from that as well. So yeah, I think Lorenzen's fine. I wish he was a little bit cheaper, but he's definitely going to make the player pool today. Angels are one of the worst offenses on this slate. So
do you like Lorenzen or Myers more?
I think I'd end up with more Myers, but I'll have both of them in my player pool today.
Yeah.
Any interest in Griffin Canning on the other side?
No, I don't.
Yeah, I'm not playing Canning either. The Angels had to go to the bullpen super early in the game against the Rangers on Tuesday night. I think they went to the bullpen pretty early on Monday night too, if I remember correctly. So yeah, I mean overall, I'm not doing it. I'm just not doing it. Texas bats. I'm going right back to the well, man. I've been stacking Texas all week. All 2 days I've been playing DFS this week. I'm going to go right back to the well. I think this is an excellent spot. You know, Josh Smith hitting the ball really well right now. Corey Seager has a ton of upside. Wyatt Langford hitting the ball. I mean, the odd man out right now is like Garcia is just not hitting, and he's one of the most expensive. Yeah,
yeah.
So I like Texas. I think Texas stack is still pretty cheap.
Yeah, I stacked them Tuesday night. I'm going to stack them most likely on Wednesday night. One of my favorite stacks on the entire board. Yeah, love Josh Smith. Gave him out as a home run call on Grinders Live on Tuesday. He was plus 500 on FanDuel. But yeah, I love Corey Seager. I love Nathaniel Lowe as well. So yeah, love all this full stack quite a bit.
Any interest in the Angels bets?
No, not really. Not at all.
That is where I'm at too. No interest.
Too big of a slate, really, I think.
Atlanta at Arizona, no total in this game. Charlie Morton, Slade, Ciccone facing off against each other. I thought it was interesting. There's no total out for this game. We'll see if Ciccone actually pitches or not. But it is Charlie Morton's time in the rotation, so he should go. Hey, listen, you know, Charlie Morton, bad, good, bad, good, bad, good. If you believe in the bad, good, bad, good, bad, good, then you got to play some Charlie Morton today.
That's got to be part of the projections, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's better?
I don't know.
Every other starter home road splits. Oh man.
Yeah, I don't know. Arizona's doesn't really strike out. So I mean, I guess outside of like Suarez. But Charlie sometimes has like really, really bad control too. So I don't love it. There's just not many other good pitchers on the slate other than like Pivetta, Valdez, you know, Sonny Gray perhaps. So I guess he has to be like maybe part of the pool, but not somebody that I want to be drastically overweight on.
Yeah, it's the every other slate. I mean, you gotta play some Charlie Morton today. You know, every other start is great. So, all joking aside, I think Charlie Morton's okay today. Like a lot of the power in this lineup is left-handed, and Charlie Morton's strikeouts have been way up against lefties recently. 30%, 0 ISO over his last 30 days against left-handed hitters. So his stuff is moving against lefties right now. He has like a 130 BABIP, so he's definitely run really well when it comes to facing lefties recently, but he can still get guys out. I'm not afraid to play pitchers against the Braves right now, but I'm definitely not playing Slade Ciccone against the Braves.
There's no reason to. We have other cheap pitchers on the slate that are in way better spots, so I agree. No Ciccone for me.
Braves bats. Hey, I haven't been able to stack Atlanta in a while. What are your thoughts here on the Atlanta bats?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big Jared Kelenic fan, so I think he's great for 4,100. Love Austin Riley quite a bit as well. Sean Murphy continues to be way too cheap. I think he's in a really good spot. Eddie Rosario is back with Atlanta, so 3,800. I think this full stack is firmly in play.
Yep, like Atlanta a lot. In Arizona, they're on the road, so you get that fifth inning. And
Matt Olson. I knew I was forgetting somebody that I really liked. Matt Olson at 5,100. I really love that.
Yeah, I mean Ozuna, I think is one of the top home run plays today. Ciccone has had really bad struggles at right-handed power. So, any interest here in Arizona?
They just seem a little bit too expensive in a spot that they're probably not going to like break the slate. So, no, I don't have any interest in Arizona.
Yeah, I mean, it's Martin's every other start. You can't stack against him. He's done a great job limiting power to lefties recently. So, like, if you wanted to make like a little 3-man of like Grichuk, Gurriel, Walker, like the right-handed power bats in this lineup, I don't hate the idea of doing that. Like, he has definitely struggled recently with righties. He has a 325 ISO and a 420 WOBA against righties over the last month. So, that is where I would attack Charlie Morton today if I was going to play Arizona bats, is the right-handed power bats. We finish out the slate with Toronto at San Francisco, 7.5 total in this game. The Giants a 138 favorite. We got Chris Bassett and Logan Webb. Any interest here in Chris Bassett?
When I first looked at this slate, I had a little bit of interest in them, but now that I've looked further into it, I really don't. I think there's guys that are cheaper than him that have better upside. This team can get pretty decent lefty wise, so he really struggles against lefties. So I'm out on Bassett.
Yeah, I mean, I think Bassett's okay. I think he could limit the damage here. He's not a huge strikeout guy anymore, so like if he goes out and limits the damage, could he be okay? I think the answer is yes. I think he could be okay. So I don't necessarily hate him in this spot. He's not my favorite play by any means, but I think he's okay. I'm going to narrow down my pitching at some point today and try to get some of these like fringy plays out or in. And like he is on that like fringy part for me. Like him, Lorenzen, Myers, like those three guys are like behind Pivetta, Valdez, Waka, potentially Sonny Gray if he pitches. So, yeah. Any interest in Logan Webb on the other side?
I think he's got to be part of the pool, even though this is like a really, really low K spot. Webb's on a big K guy either way, and he's 9,800. So really, really pricey, but he's a really solid pitcher. So I think he's got to be part of the pool. Don't like him more than Pivetta, though. So definitely prefer Pivetta a lot more over Webb.
Is the pitching gun broken in Texas, or is this Joyce dude really throwing 102? Like, this guy's throwing gas. If like at bat might be broken, but man, I don't have that game on TV, obviously. But Logan Webb's another fringy guy for me. He's not going to go out and like dominate this team, but he could pitch like 7 really good innings, and if he does limits the runs in this spot and puts up 25, I think that's plenty today. I like Pivetta more. I would have more interest in Sonny Gray. But yeah, I mean, I think Logan Webb's okay. He's just not a huge strikeout guy. And he's really been striking out righties or lefties more than righties recently in this season in general. So the fact that this is a right-handed heavy lineup, it's really going to come down to BABIP. He's going to generate ground balls. He's not going to give up a lot of hard contact or give up a lot of power. But yeah, I mean, I think Logan Webb is playable. He's just another fringy guy. Like, I don't want to play the Toronto bats. Like, there's none of these guys that I have interest in on this slate.
I have no interest in Toronto bats at all. I do have a little bit of interest in the Giants, like Lamont Wade or Yaz. Some of these lefties, Conforto, I don't mind either. I kind of like the lefties for the Giants.
Yeah, I mean, overall, I don't see myself playing bats in this game. Just in general. I just don't think this is a spot I end up on any bats. All right, let's play the morning grind game, and then we'll get out of here. Under 8K to get 6 or more strikeouts. Who do you
got? I'll go Waka.
Yeah, I like that one. I think I'm going to go Myers. Over 8K to score under 15. Who's your bust today?
Over 8K. I will go. I'll go Bassett.
Yeah, I'm leaning Gavin Stone. I think that's where I'm going to go. Gavin Stone is a guy that I don't see myself playing today. Over 4K to hit a home run. Who's going yard today?
Tyler O'Neill.
Yeah, love that one. I mean, I think I'm just going to keep going. My boy Corey Seager. Absolutely love this spot for the Rangers today. Hopefully the Angels bullpen stops. I need one more Texas run. One more Texas run. Like, let's hit our plus. I think it was like plus 570 morning grind parlay from yesterday. Just Texas needs to put one more on the board. Under 4K to get 2 hits. Who's a cheap bet that you like today?
I'll go Lamont Wade.
I mean, you left me the layup. I mean, the best hitter in baseball right now is Rhys Hines. I got to keep taking Rhys Hines. I mean, he's 2,500, and now we can play him in the outfield. I mean, he was a single away from the cycle when he just struck out a few minutes ago. So, good first 2 days of a career. And I mean, now you're getting another soft toss and lefty. So give me Hines. Stack to score 6 or more runs. Who do you got?
I will go with Texas.
Excuse me, I was yawning. Gotta love when that happens. I'm gonna go to the Reds again. I like Cincinnati. You took Texas. That's who I wrote down. So give me Cincinnati to get the job done today. Any player props or pick and plays that you like?
I was hoping there was some Boston batting props up, but there is not yet. Definitely look out for that Tyler O'Neill over 1.5 bases. If that's like even money, I would take it. I think I'm going to take the under on Christopher Sanchez strikeouts. It's currently 4.5 minus 105 on DK.
Yeah, I'm going to go under 5.5 strikeouts for Frankie Montas at minus 103 on Caesars. You can get this at minus 105 on DraftKings or BetMGM as well. I like all of those lines. Frankie Montas is a guy that has hit over 5.5 strikeouts 2 times this season. 2 times in 16 starts. I know the Rockies stink, but this is still a great ballpark for hitting, and Montas is not a strikeout pitcher, so I'm going to play the odds on this one and take under 5.5 strikeouts for Frankie Montas today. Any other bets?
What an ugly slate for strikeouts, though. So bad.
Yeah, there's no one that I'm like jumping off the page to see. Like maybe Pivetta, maybe his strikeout prop comes in at like 6.5, and we can take advantage of that. But I highly doubt it. If it is like 6.5, it'll probably be like minus 150 or something.
Right.
Any other bets that you like on this slate?
I kind of like the the Rangers minus 142 right now on DK.
There you go. I don't hate it. We'll see how we end up with our morning grind parlay from Tuesday. I hope we go 2 for 2. Would love to see the week start off with back-to-back 3-team parlays. I have another one for today. It's a 3 plus 300 parlay. It's 3 money line bets. We went to over-unders yesterday, but we're going to go to money line bets today. I got Texas minus 140 over there on Hard Rock. Again, this is Hard Rock because I'm in Florida. I'm going to take Boston's money line, and I'm going to take the Mets money line here at plus 303 for the morning grind parlay. Hopefully, Texas scores another run, and we can potentially start the week 3 for 3. That's going to wrap it up here for Tuesday. Appreciate everyone hanging out. Again, if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. I will post the morning grind contest in chat right now. Winner of today's morning grind contest will get some swag from RotoGrinders. I don't know what they've been sending, so hopefully they send you guys some socks because the socks are fire.
The socks are outstanding.
Yeah,
it's a great sock.
Absolutely fire. So I'll try to remember as hard as I can to remember to put the morning grind contest link in the comment section on the YouTube page as well. That's it for today. Back tomorrow talking baseball. Good luck, everyone. We'll see you then.